Dollar Tree came out with a whole new peel and stick wallpaper line, and it's so good. Today I'm going to show you how you can use them in your home. So the last time I did a peel and stick wallpaper video on my channel, you guys absolutely loved it. Thank you so much for watching it. But right after we did that video, Dollar Tree put out a whole new line of peel and stick wallpapers. And we were like, why wasn't that out for our last video? We were excited to see the new wallpapers. There are some really pretty ones. So we picked up all the new ones so we could use them in today's video. The other thing we're gonna be using are the Dollar Tree plant stools. Now these are in the plus section. They're usually $5. For this DIY, I'm gonna be using a white plant stool. You're also going to need a wood round. You can pick this up at Walmart. They do sell them in several different sizes, so I'm going to get one that's just a little bit larger than my plant stool. I want to cover the wood plant stool with 2 pieces of peel and stick. I love this blue marble that they just got in. It looks so nice. So I'm going to peel off the back of the blue marble paper and put it down on my wood piece so it's about halfway covering my wood round. Then to attach the paper, I'm just going to pull it as tightly as possible and press it down to the edges. And you're going to do this all the way around and then taking that back area and pressing it down really hard. Then you're going to take another piece of blue marble paper, put it on the other side, making sure that you cover it and match it up as best as possible. And then you're going to pull it and wrap it around the back. If you do have excess paper, you can cut that off. And also, I did have to cut a piece and add it to the edges because the paper wasn't long enough to cover the edges. So I put paper to try to disguise that edge as best I could. To attach this to the plant stool, you're gonna add a little bit of E6000 to the top of your plant stool and then place the wood round in the center. This makes a great side table anywhere in your home. You never know what you're gonna find at the thrift store. And the last time I was there, I found these 2 bamboo pieces. And honestly, at first, I wasn't sure exactly what they were meant for. I think they are from a restaurant supply to put lids in. But I had an idea to make this work for the summer. So what I'm gonna be doing with these 2 wood pieces is I'm gonna combine them together with hot glue and E6000. Once that dries, I'm gonna add a little peel and stick at the bottom. So this is not a new peel and stick. This is one they've had before, and it's in this like geometric white and gold pattern. So I wanted to cut a piece off, but I really wanted to go with that cool triangle shape that they have at the bottom. So I cut it off in that zigzag pattern. Next, I'm gonna peel off the back and place it on the front of my bamboo piece and wrap it around to the side. Now I didn't have enough to cover all the way around, so I did have to cut another piece that was the exact same size. And I just did that by flipping the peel and stick over and doing that at the bottom. And then I'm gonna wrap that around the back and then cut off any excess. I have something similar that I bought off of Amazon that was way more expensive that I used for holding cups and Sharpies. I thought this was a less expensive option and it would hold the cups so much better. I really liked this butterfly peel and stick wallpaper that Dollar Tree has right now. I thought it'd be perfect for a girl's room. So I picked up a cork board at Walmart and I'm just going to take off the backing of it. I picked out 2 of these butterfly sheets that I thought would fit perfectly on here. I peeled off the backing and I placed it so it was a little bit underneath the frame on one side. Then at the bottom, I'm just going to smooth it out with my fingernails and cut off any excess with my box cutter. I'll place another sheet on, lining it up with my previous sheet, and then I'll just have to cut off any excess on the side and the bottom. You can add in some of your favorite Dollar Tree push pins. I found 2 different options. They had these gold ones and then they also had clear ones. I think I'm gonna go with the gold ones, but this is a great way to display all of your pictures. Peel and stick wallpaper is great to use really anywhere around your home. If you have a cabinet or a drawer that you're wanting to take to the next level, you can use peel and stick wallpaper. I found this gorgeous wallpaper off of Amazon, and I have this really dark cabinet. It's a cabinet by my front door, and it houses all the different items that I need whenever I'm walking out the front door, but it's a little bit dark. So I thought adding in this peel and stick wallpaper that I found on Amazon would brighten it up. So I'm going to add that to the shelf and the bottom. The second piece is going to be my trickier piece because I have to line this up and this up. So I'm going to cut to give myself about a ½ inch over here. I got a little bit of room over here, and my main focus is going to be lining this up, and then I'll have to cut the edges with the box cutter. I feel like that really dresses it up quite a bit. I also have a Dollar Tree bin that I picked up. This is one they've had for years. It's just a plain white bin. I'm gonna be adding some peel and stick paper to the front of this. So to do that, I'm just going to take the bin and place it down. Using a Sharpie, I'm gonna trace around the side of it. I'm also gonna trace around that opening. Then I'll cut out on that Sharpie line. From there, I'm just going to line the paper up and place it down on the front of my organization bin, and then I'll just smooth it out to make sure I don't have any bubbles. This is going to be great in my cabinet. It's going to house all of Moose's dog treats. I also have Dollar Tree bins in here that are perfect for shoes or purses or anything you have. I also keep this acrylic container in here of all of my purse essentials that I need to get out the door. When I saw this frame on Pottery Barn's website, it reminded me so much of the Dollar Tree peel and stick wallpaper. And I thought, what if I had a frame that I could match this up with? Would it look like the Pottery Barn frame? I feel like whenever you're adding peel and stick, it's best to have something that's a flat surface. It just makes it so much easier. So when I was at the thrift store, I found this frame that was completely flat. I'm gonna be using that as my frame for this DIY. So I'm gonna place that paper down, and then using a Sharpie, I'll just trace around the frame. I'm gonna cut out the outside and I'll cut out the inside. I'll peel off the backing and place it onto my frame. Then you can just add in your favorite print. I don't know, let me know what you guys think. Does it look like the Pottery Barn one? I'm telling you, the thrift store is the place to go if you're wanting things to add peel and stick wallpaper to. Another thing I found when I was shopping at the thrift store was this clock. And again, it was super flat. It wasn't a clock that I picked up, but I thought if I updated it, it could look really high end. I'm gonna be taking off the clock hands, and then I'm also going to be removing the center portion. Next, I'm gonna cover it with Dollar Tree's basic peel and stick marble paper. I'm gonna place that on one side, and then using my scissors, I'm going to cut it off around the edge, making it as nice and even to the edge as possible. And then I'll place on another piece of peel and stick wallpaper and smooth it out and cut it around the edge. Now, I did feel like the clock hands needed a little bit of work, so I painted them a dark gray color. Once those were dry, I added on the backing piece and placed the clock hands back on, but I feel like this is a major improvement for this thrift store clock. If you made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. Comment the word of the day, which is peel and stick. Not only can you use peel and stick wallpaper from Dollar Tree, but they also have a ton of stickers. And I have to say, I've kind of overlooked the stickers for a while, but I definitely think I'm gonna be going back to them because when we were doing this video, I started looking in the sticker section and I found these really gorgeous flowers that they had out. So I'm gonna be using one of the Dollar Tree $5 glass vases. And then I'm just going to take some of those pink flowers and place them around the edge of my vase. Now I did have another sticker pack that had smaller flowers. I'm going to add those in around the edge as well. Next, I'm going to be adding in some of my favorite tulips right now. These are from Amazon. I will link them for you down below if you're looking for them. And I'm going to place those in the center. Once I put them in, I felt like I needed something at the bottom. So I'm going to be adding in some Dollar Tree white rocks to the bottom, and then I will add in the tulips. So I was getting ready to cut this project from the video because it's not turning out the way I want it to with the flowers, but I thought instead of doing that, I was gonna ask you guys for your suggestion. So I added the rocks in and then I put my tulips back in, and I just don't like how much I can see the stems. My other thought was I could try to maybe tie them together, but again, I don't really like the look of them being tied together. So I feel like this project would have been better if I had not a clear vase. Maybe I went with something that was like a white vase. I don't know. Let me know what your suggestions are. I also feel like if I had real stems, it would look a little bit better, but I feel like these tulips just look too fake on the stems that I don't like the look. It looks a little cluttered. I'm telling you, there is so much peel and stick wallpaper available on Amazon. When I started searching, I found so much, and I came across this really pretty floral print. I've been looking for a print that I could hang in my home that was a little bit larger, that I didn't have to spend a lot of money on. And if you're somebody who's not as great at making your own art, this is a good solution for you. Adding peel and stick wallpaper to a large canvas. I usually go to Hobby Lobby to get my canvases, and for this DIY, we're going to be using a 30 by 40 canvas. And I also bought a roll of peel and stick wallpaper off of Amazon. When you're creating a large canvas, you need to divide it up because your canvas is typically larger than your wallpaper. So to do that, you want to create a line down the center of your canvas. So my canvas was 30 inches wide, so I measured off to be 15 inches, so I got the exact middle point, and I did that all the way down. And then with the Sharpie, I drew a straight line down on my canvas. Why am I doing this? This is going to help me be a guide as I'm putting that wallpaper on, so it's nice and straight. Because I don't have a guide on the edge because I want the wallpaper to wrap around the edge. So you want to start your paper with it being a little bit over the top, peel off just enough so that you can stick it down, and then you're going to continue to peel off that backing piece and stick it down. If for some reason it gets off track and you're not following that line, that's okay. Just pull it up and re-guide it down, making sure you smooth as you go. So you're gonna do this all the way until you completely cover one side, leaving about 4 inches at the bottom. Cut that off. For your second piece of wallpaper, your main goal is to line up your flowers. So move your paper so that your flowers are lined, and then you're going to smooth it out. Don't worry if it's not perfect, you can always peel it up and push it back down. Now continue smoothing your paper out till you get to the bottom. Now to handle the edges of your wallpaper, you're going to flip the canvas over to the back. Next, you're going to pull the wallpaper and smooth it out on 2 sides. If you have any excess, you can cut it off. To handle your corners, you're going to tuck them in like a present and pull them up, smoothing that edge as well. And your wall art is done. I think this is a great way to get high-end wall art for a fraction of the cost. So there's a couple ways you could hang this up. You could just put a nail hole on your wall. If you don't want to add nail holes, get some command strips. And I will usually use the large ones, and I'll just stick 2 together, and then I'll add it to all the corners of my print. You can dress up any Dollar Tree planter with peel and stick wallpaper. Just pick your planter and then you're gonna pick some peel and stick wallpaper. For this particular planter, you want to get one that's as smooth as possible. I'm gonna be using 2 sheets of peel and stick wallpaper. Start by putting your wallpaper on so that you have enough hanging over the top and the bottom so that you're able to tuck that in. Smooth the paper down and cut off any excess, leaving about 1.5 inches at the top and the bottom. Then you're gonna tuck the top edge in and the bottom edge. Now the bottom edge wasn't sticking very well, so I used a little bit of hot glue to make sure it stuck well to the bottom. I'll add on an additional piece of peel and stick paper to the back, wrapping it around and doing the same technique, cutting it off at the top and the bottom. If you need a little bit more paper, you can always cut that off and add it. And again, with that bottom, just add a little bit of hot glue. Now this is a great way to dress up a simple Dollar Tree planter. Just add in your favorite plant. I found this little tray at the thrift store and I thought it would be a perfect little trinket tray for jewelry sitting out in your bathroom, or you could have it in your closet. It was a little too gold for me, so I got out my gold Rub and Buff colors, and I like to mix 2 colors together, so I put out 2 of my favorite colors, and I'm gonna use a foam brush to rub it onto the back and the front. I'll do this kind of with heavy coats to really just get it covered, but after I did that, I really felt like it kind of toned down that gold and gave it more of a gold look that I would like. I let this dry, and then I found these gold and navy stickers in the sticker section at Dollar Tree, and I'm going to use the navy ones and place those down on the trinket tray. Now to really secure them in place, I'm going to be using Mod Podge. So I'll use my foam brush, a new foam brush, and I'll add Mod Podge to the bottom and let that dry completely. And here's how it turned out. Dollar Tree has these really pretty fluted jars out. Sometimes they're kind of hard to find, but when I was shopping, I was able to pick up 3 of them. So I'm gonna be using these as some really pretty bathroom containers. I did want to dress up the lids a little bit, so I'll remove the lids and I'm gonna spray paint them with a light pink color. This is just a Rust-Oleum color that I got at Walmart. So I'm gonna spray both sides and let that dry completely. Next, I wanted to add on some stickers. Again, I'm really loving the stickers at Dollar Tree. So I cut out some stickers, these like pink and yellow ones, and I placed those on there and I really didn't like them. Like the first one I put on, I was like, I'm not feeling these. So I ended up pulling those stickers off. So I went back to see if I had any other stickers. I found this one set that had like pink and purple flowers, and I thought that could work. And I kind of cut them out because I like to cut out my flowers first and place them so I can see what they're gonna look like before I peel them off and stick them on. Now these were a little bit larger, but I think they ended up working. So I put on a large pink one. I also had a purple flower, and then I did a combo. Now with all of these flowers, I did have to cut off excess because they were a little bit bigger, but that's okay. And you can finish these off by adding a layer of Mod Podge. And I think these look great styled in my bathroom. In the party section, they have several of these boxes out, and these are some of my favorite boxes. I love that they have the magnetic closure, and they're perfect for storing remotes. And these are really easy to cover with peel and stick. Now you can use them for remotes. You could also use these as just stackable books for your decor, and they come in different sizes. I'm gonna be using a gold and white peel and stick, and I'll just line it up with the corner, wrap it around. I'm going to cut off the excess on one side, and then I'll finish wrapping it around, cutting off the excess. This DIY takes maybe a minute to do. I'm using it with my remotes, but really you could use this anywhere around your house. Don't throw out these Pringles containers. There's a lot you can do with them. I'm gonna show you how you can use this in your craft room. You can use this to store your ribbon. So the first thing you're going to do is just take off the lid. Next, we're going to cut a slit into our can that's about 1/2 inch in thickness, and we're not going to cut off the top or the bottom. We want to keep those intact. So I want to draw a line across where I'm going to be cutting with my box cutter. So I'm just placing this paper down, then go down about 1/2 inch and draw another line. And then we're going to cut it out with our box cutter. All right, so when you get down to this bottom area, we're going to have to cut across here because we want to keep the top and the bottom intact. Now, if you've been at Dollar Tree recently, you may have noticed that they have a ton of new peel and stick wallpapers. I'm so excited for all these different designs. This one I think will be great to put around our Pringles can. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna peel it off and stick it on there before I cut it off. I find sometimes it's easier to just cut it off after I've already put it onto my container. And if I have to peel it up, I can do that as well. I'm gonna peel off the backing and start placing it around my container. These come off really easily because there's a little strip right here, and then you can pull the strip on the other side. So I went a little bit far and then pulled it up, and I messed up a little bit of the paper here, but I'm thinking whenever I put the ribbon in, you're not gonna be able to see it. So I got back around here to the edge, and I want to just cut it off as even with the edge that I can. So I'm just going to kind of feel my way through it with my box cutter. And when I feel like I'm at the edge, I'm going to cut it. All right, now around the edge, I'm just going to follow it along the edge and try to pull up the paper. Sometimes the hardest part is just getting it started. So I feel like I need to put over here where I have red on the edge, I feel like I need to add a little piece there. So I'm gonna try to do that. All right, it's not perfect, but I think it's gonna work because once I put all the ribbon, you're not gonna be able to see the flaws I have on here. So what you wanna do is take your ribbon, and before you put it down into the Pringles can, you're going to feed it through this opening right here. Okay, so see how I did that? And then I'm just going to place it down into the bottom of my can. So I've already pulled my ribbon out so it's ready to go. Next, you're going to add the lid back on, and now you have a way to store all of your ribbons. You can put them this way against something, it will roll, or you can just store them up like this, and when you need to get off a little bit of ribbon, just pull it out and cut off what you need. There are so many new great items out at Dollar Tree, one being this acrylic flower container. This is so pretty. You could add in some of your favorite florals to this container. I'm actually gonna use it for something different. I'm gonna be using this white and gold one. So I removed the packaging and the tape from this flower container. I'm gonna remove the backing on the peel and stick paper, and I'll start at the corner of one side, placing it down as even as possible. I'll go around to the side and just make it nice and smooth, and then I'll finish it around the front. Now I didn't have enough to make it all the way around, so from there I'm just going to use one of my box cutters to cut it off at the bottom. Now sometimes when you deal with peel and stick paper, it gets stuck to things. I had trouble with it getting stuck to the paper on my table, but I made it work, found a piece that I could put on that last side, and I just lined it up, smoothed it out, and then cut it with my box cutter. So in the end, it ended up working out great. I added the lid back on, and I think this is a great item to use to organize in your office. Another new item I spotted this year are these green vases. So pretty. You guys know I love green. Obviously, I'm wearing it. So I had to get these green vases. I didn't like the ribbon that was wrapped around those, so I went ahead and removed those. And I wanted to kind of do something fun with these. So I went on Amazon and I found these temporary tattoos. Now, I know you're thinking tattoos, like little kid tattoos. No, these are pretty. I found these pretty floral decals. They're almost like decals that you could create, but these were perfect. I went through and I picked out the florals that I liked and I cut those out. And then to put them on my vase, all I had to do was place the decal onto the vase. And then I took a paper towel that I got wet and then I put it on the back side. Once the backing was saturated, I could just pull the backing up and that tattoo was set in place and it wasn't going anywhere. So on each of my vases, I put about 2 decals. I think one of them I added 3 on, and this took me just a couple of minutes to do. It was so easy, and I think they look pretty sitting out, and it just gives them a little bit something extra with those floral decals. Let me know down in the comments which of these DIYs was your favorite. I love knowing your opinion. And make sure you subscribe because I want to see you back here, and I'll see you in our next one. Bye.